Welcome back to another episode of Mystic Scales and Fairy Tales
Podcast.
Podcast. We are doing a live episode in a cafe.
This is new for us.
We're doing a live episode in a cafe because we were rummage sailing, which is this huge rummage sale happened near us. We just had to go get a bunch of books.
The books.
But we're committed to recording our episode, of course. So here we are. And Mark is in their car. So this kind of works out because we have special guests today. Mark.
Hello again, everybody.
Mark, welcome back.
Thank you,
So
thank you.
works out that we're all in
So
public
excited to
recording
be back.
this.
Yeah, and this is so funny.
We're all making it work. It's a commitment to the bit, and the bit is our favorite thing.
Yeah, literally. But it's kind of fun because me and Lee don't ever record in person together.
Oh, so this is different.
That's true.
It's like real live.
This is throwback to January.
Oh my god, our first episode ever when we did this.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking with our friend Mark, who you might remember from Ballad of Songbird and Snake episode, because today we're talking about Sunrise on the Reaping,
Part 2,
which is called, what is it called?
The Rascal.
The Rascal, part 2 of the book. So this is really exciting because we're going to focus primarily on 2, the Rascal, all the way to the part 3, the poster, which we will break down in a further episode. Spoilers ahead for sure. If you didn't read the book, go read the book before you listen to this episode. And if you missed the first part, go back, listen to the first part of our episode so you can get part 1 of the book. But I would say this is definitely a lot of the meat of the book is part 2. So this is exciting for us to break this down together.
Yeah, some character building.
Character appearances too.
Yes. Yeah, chapter 13. Just going to throw it out there.
All right, let's just jump into it. So part 2, we left off. Wait, actually, before we jump into the parts, Mark, what was your, what did you feel about this book?
What was your reaction?
How are you? Are you okay from it?
Oh my God, very traumatizing book. But I loved every second of it. It's got to be up there for me with Catching Fire in terms of how just captivating it was during the read. You get a deep dive into Haymitch and the people from his era. And I gotta say, it's a little, I think you guys talked about this in the last episode, but it's kind of fan servicey in terms of like throwing characters that you know, that you quote unquote like might know, and kind of giving them life and explaining their origin and stuff, which I think was very cool that Suzanne did that in this book.
I was thinking when they're doing all this like casting announcements, like they threw in Plutarch, and I was like, actually, like he's kind of a spoiler.
Yeah, he kind of is a spoiler.
That was a great inclusion in cast.
But it was something they really real like chapter 2.
Yeah.
So it's not like a bigger spoiler. Like if they announce like Effie, for example, I feel like that's a bigger spoiler than Plutarch. Yeah, like once you get to like chapter 2, Plutarch is there, so it's not.
Also, we loved the casting of Plutarch.
Jesse Simmons.
Yeah, I was at work. I was in the office, and it came through, and I screamed. My boss was like, "What?"
And a lot of people were saying he's too old, but I don't think so. I think it was perfect. I think it's fine.
Well, we don't really know his age because we tried to figure it out.
Yeah, we can figure out his age. So
right, the math kind of checks out, and I mean Jesse Plemons has a range of ages he can possibly be.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what was your overall rating, though? I was like out of 5. What's your number?
This one is 5 out of 5 for me for sure.
Yay! 5 out of 5. We love a 5 out of 5.
Remind us, what was your ballad rating?
It was like 3 or 4.
I think it was somewhere between 3 or 4, 3.5 maybe, just because like I liked it, and then the end kind of just rushed me, and then I don't know, not that it fell flat, but it wasn't as satisfying an ending, I think.
Which maybe she was like, I don't want it to be because I got something else brewing.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be even better.
Yep, and I have to leave you where it is so that we can pick up yours.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, so part 2. As we discussed in part 1, we leave off with President Snow and Haymitch are discussing in Plutarch's office, library, or whatever, And at the end of part 1, the fake Luella is introduced. And that's where we start with part 2. Is our fake little Luella, which is insane. Which we just talked about recently because you said you didn't in the last episode, Lee was saying that she didn't really believe the Capitol would be that technologically advanced to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I was like, interesting, but like it's just a hypnotism in a way. So I wonder what they were doing with that.
Yeah. I think we also kind of discussed that it was more like a body double than like they didn't like supplant her brain or anything like that. So
yeah,
I think ultimately it becomes more of an emotional thing. Like at the end of this part, when Lulu dies, Haymitch is like reflecting on like if her like real family will notice like who she is, and then he talks about like Luella's family and what they're gonna wonder, and like that really hit me because I was like, oh yeah, like the rest of the world doesn't know that Luella died tragically.
Exactly.
Like, they supplanted her.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And Haymitch is like, at least I don't have to like give that conversation. And it's like, that's just so heartbreaking. That like,
we found out in the end he does have to talk to them, but he doesn't have that conversation.
But he doesn't have to explain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wonder why they felt they had to replace, because I guess because it was like the bigger game. But like when the 10th game was going on and the tributes died, they didn't replace the tributes.
Yeah.
They just were like, they died.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a callback to your thoughts on like the tragedy story that they wanted this like little girl in the game.
Yes, I have the theory that like, I don't think it's just my theory alone. I think it's others that like, this is all scripted in the games. Like I didn't think about this until this book was like that each person is picked for a reason and not just randomly. And it could be to help the television program. So picking a 12-year-old and the drama of it and how much that would like hurt the audience, whatever. And my theory too was that with Prim, that she was picked on purpose because in 11 they picked Rue, and then in 12 it would be like two back-to-back 12-year-olds.
Right.
So they could have done that. And I think also it being the 50th game and all eyes on deck and it being a big game, like they have to have all tributes to start. But they don't really need to. They could have just said she died because she was like sick or something.
And then, okay, so like I was thinking about this too, like when they're in the games and like basically they send Luella or Lulu to Haymitch, right? And then they kill her. Like, what do you guys think? Like,
well, that's good TV.
You think that's all it was?
That's good TV.
There was more to it. Like, do you think there was a message to Haymitch like in the game?
Oh, it could have been.
Like, why?
What do you think that would be then? If it like, so
I was like,
Lulu.
Why now?
Yeah.
Was it like where they try like was Snow trying to like humanize, like be like, I'm giving you someone who's like your little bird and like watch her die. Like maybe you don't want to go through this plan. I don't know.
Like, I was thinking more of like it's just to torture him, like a reminder that his real Lulu died, and then this one is there, and he's not going to just leave her to die, and then drama and get TV.
Yes. I just felt like it was sudden.
Yeah, I think Snow, being the person he is, just has to be in control of everything, and the fact that Luella died out of his control kind of made him feel some sort of way, and he maybe felt like, oh, I can't have this. Let's put in a body double and then kill her off the way I want it to happen. You know, I feel like that's just a type of person.
Yeah, very true.
And also the fact that Haymitch was able to use that to kind of, what was it, during the parade, he wound up like with her body right in front of Snow as some act of defiance, and maybe Snow just,
which is why Snow goes and kills the parade master, right? He's like, you let this happen and now I look like a fool, so you gotta go.
Exactly. And maybe he felt the same way.
I asked Lee this, I think either on the podcast or in general, but Mark, do you ever think that Snow ended up ever being a game master or just went straight to presidency?
Yeah.
Like in his career.
You guys mentioned that in the last podcast, and when you did, I did start thinking about it. I feel like he had to have been, like, there's it just makes more sense about how much he knows about the games. Like the logical step would be for him to be a game master. But also because at the time his reputation wasn't like great, you know. So I don't think they liked him enough to be like, here's the presidency, that's it. Yeah,
Well,
so
my thought was like, unless if you just did really well in the military and like was a commander and like got higher up and then went to presidency, because like even but at the same time, Dr. Goal, I think at the end of the ballot is like come back and train with me. Like be my whatever, be like you're gonna go to university with my stuff. So like I wonder if he did do that and then became president or if he just went straight to it.
Or was he just stealing people left and right
To
and
get
was like, guess what? Now I'm president.
you know, I feel like he became a little more unhinged after that whole scene with Lucy, and then I think all bets are off, and he could just had no reason to not
Yeah.
kill anybody really to that got in his way.
Yeah.
Did you feel great reading Ballad before this? Because I feel like there's so much Ballad stuff in this book.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, the Covey. So it was good to have read Ballad before this, just to know who the Covey are, and like when they don't go deep into it in Sunrise, but when they mention them, it's nice to just know in the back of your head, like, oh, this is who they're talking about. But I don't think it's necessary to really read Ballad before
Yeah,
Sunrise.
I agree. But it was nice because we're noticing, and even in this chapter, they do it. Like the language from their songs is even like incorporated into the way that District 12 speaks, like how Haymitch speaks, and like not to jump to the end, but there is a line when he's looking at uh yeah, Ampert RIP. He literally says his coven will hold only these pearly white bones. And that's what Lucy says.
Yeah.
She says it in the movie as well. And like there's multiple things like that. And I mentioned last episode there was a one where like Haymitch said that Sid likes to live on the sunny side.
Yeah.
And that's from their songs. So it's like little quotes and things are from the songs that the Covey put. And then I asked Lee today too, I said, do you think that the President Snow was the one to ban the songs? Like, did it happen over time? Like, or was it when President Snow came presidency because of the songs that bothered him the most? Those are the ones that are, the not okay ones, especially like Hanging Tree. Or was it just like a accepted thing? Because like Lucy would just perform them. It's not like she like, and the only time we see her perform it as well is when she's with Snow. And where the assumption is that at her next soiree or her next whatever the next performance, then she performs it, and then like not that soon after, then she dies and stuff. So it's like, I did the song just keep living on? Like I don't know. I'm really curious on that. And then obviously like why didn't Snow kill everyone? But we talked about that a lot.
Right. And it could be the littlest thing, and he'll,
Something great. Speaking of the music of the book, it's not only just the Covey songs they talk about, but it's also District 11 songs.
Oh, they do District 11.
Nice. So with Lulu, once she like gets closer to, again, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead in this section. Once she gets like closer to them, it says that she starts singing a sunflower song.
And there's a Mockingjay song too.
Yeah, there's like a few songs they sing, and that's when they're like, she's from District 11. So it was really interesting. I lost where I was anyway. So I have to find the song. As you can see, I tabbed this.
Yeah, she ran out of tabs.
Yeah, that's there's a lot to this book.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I'll get to the song later because I can't find it right now. So let's move on.
You want to talk about like Haymitch's persona as the rascal? And I was particularly interested in this book is a lot of comparison to Haymitch and Katniss, right? They have a similar trajectory. And I kind of took Haymitch's, he's, the rascal, the troublemaker, the like throwing the quips, and he lands a 1 for his score. Whereas like Katniss is like, I'm gonna shoot an arrow at you, like I'm gonna put it in your face, and she gets, isn't it an 11?
It's an 11.
So like, what do we think is the dichotomy of that? The difference?
Yeah, I think with that too, it's mainly because they make her a threat,
Mhm.
and he's not a threat. He
So
has like
is that like
30.
the Plutarch of it all, or what do you like? Who makes her a threat?
Well, I think the thought is if giving her an 11 makes her a threat to the other tributes, and they want to kill her first,
Mm.
then she might get more sponsors. Making him a 1,
It's like laughing in his face.
yeah, and also like because if you make him 11, no one's gonna think he's a threat because they're all allied with him.
True.
I don't know. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah.
I think the point of making him a 1 was that so that no one else sides with him. Like, oh, he's a 1. We're not gonna rally with you. We're not gonna form an alliance with you because you're a 1. You're gonna either slow us down or you're gonna get us all killed. That's one part of it, and then the other part too that I think is just to kind of humiliate him, kind of lower his morale because he kind of riled things up during the parade and kind of not showboated, but he made a scene, and this is kind of just to take him down a peg and before going into the games.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was kind of surprised that he did kind of like separate himself from the newcomers like so quickly. And it was like sad, right? Because they had done so well in the interviews and they had banded together. They got 9 in there. And then Haymitch realizes, like, if I'm going to be of any use to like Beatty and Ampert, I have to flip my persona. And so he
Mhm.
kind of has this little war in himself, which is also nice because it's like a show of his character.
But I think he also is like Mark said, it makes him like look like that. Like maybe the careers will be out to kill him first, and him thinking like if any of the newcomers are with me, they're in danger,
Right.
and knowing that Snow is like constantly looking at him like they're in danger.
Right. Like he has
So don't
this
get near me.
dual motive now. He's like, I really do want to protect all these people, but I also like want to stick it to the capital, but I have to be careful.
Yeah, and me protecting you by leaving.
Yeah, I think he does mention that like when he sees the crowd of the newcomers, he's like, all right, I'm going to stay away from them, kind of keep them safe by doing that, right? So that besides the mission that he's on, that's part of the reason why he doesn't like bring anybody else with him is just so he can protect newcomers, give them a chance to survive a little longer.
Speaking of 9, how did you guys feel about Maisley? So District 9 was, struggling to join the newcomers, and Maisley in this section ends up helping them with their tokens because Panache, not Panchek.
Book.
Who is Panchek?
That's in Fourth Wing.
Oh my god, that is in Fourth Wing. Okay, because Panache comes over and tries to get 9, and then they say no, and he snaps their tokens, and Maisley comes and fixes it. This is all flour and water, and it's really beautiful moment. We know that you're a Maisley fan club girly, so we want to hear.
Yeah, tell us about Maisley.
Just her character development throughout the story is just so good, and towards the end, like it's hard not to have her as your favorite character after all she's done. For the newcomers, for Lulu, for Wyatt, and for Haymitch, but also like I think my favorite thing about Maisley is her interactions with Drusilla. That's just like the one thing that I like love about her is how nasty Drusilla is. Maisley will give it back like tenfold, which is so funny to me.
And she's that character that like you always think she's mean, you think she's this, but like she really has so much heart to her. Like, that's just her front. Like, no, she will help all of them. She cares about all of them. She will defend all of them. She does defend all of them. And she goes up pulling for everyone, including Haymitch, even then he didn't want to.
Yeah, Maisley is definitely a New Yorker. You guys ever hear that? Where New Yorkers will be like so mean, but they'll help you out. That's Maisley.
Like they're screaming at you, but they're telling you they're literally helping you.
Just talking about this Because we were talking about how someone said that Jen had like California energy. And she was like, does that mean I'm not nice?
Literally.
Funny.
Literally. That's so funny. Yeah. So then after that, we get to, you mentioned, we get to the interviews and we talk about that a little bit. But I loved this quote that he says in his interview. So it says, we haven't noticed that you possess any outstanding skills, the head game maker says. Which also, I love that this is like different than like what we see with Katniss later on. Like this is like in the gym, they're on the bleachers sitting like in a neat row. Like it sounds like school. Like where later on we eventually see it's like a party with the feast and everything. So it's like the
Yeah.
development of that. Like I
For sure.
wonder what the change was inspired that. But anyway, Haymitch says, really? I smirk because from where I'm standing, it looks like I came up with 31 people who promised to defend me. But that's a strategy a little too subtle for you. Her mouth tightens. And are you willing to let them die? Why not, lady? You are.
Damn.
Mic drop.
hmm
And that's how he ends his interview. So it's like it's so great to see like you talk about his rebellion side coming out. And then that's what ends up getting him a 1. But I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about that. I just love that quote.
I think that's a great quote.
This is a
Yeah.
great, because he tries to follow the rules, but there's moments where he's just like, and I think he gets this from Lenore. Just that part of me thinks that it's her influence on him kind of brings out the rebellious side, and they come out in such
It's just like a burst. Like
it's
not
it's
in
so
control. It's just like,
right.
I'm
It's
going to say the thing.
big display, grand display, like interview. It's perfect.
Literally. So in the next chapter 2 and chapter 12, we actually get our first another mention of the Mockingjay pen.
Which TikTok is going crazy because they're like, how are the films gonna retcon this? Because they had it like Greasy Say like gives
Okay.
it to her in the Hob.
Easily do that. She's selling things that she got in the hub, but the family sold it. Like all you say is that, like, I know people were like, "Oh, were you gonna cut out the sister, Maisley? Is this
Merrily? I
Merrily?"
think it's Merrily.
Like, and then the
Oh, they're not gonna cut her
the
out.
writer who's writing it, he tweeted back like a eye emoji or something. Like, he tweeted something like, "Of course not," whatever. Like, yeah, they're not gonna cut that character. All they say is like, it could have been her pin, and then they sold it. Like that's it. Like,
But they shouldn't have.
obviously not. Maisley is asking to see Haymitch's token. Then she goes, well, the Covey have an eye for beauty, that's for sure. Heard you have one of Tam Amber's pins, I say. She wrinkles her nose. Oh, that, it's well made, but I don't care much for mockingjays. Something unnatural about a bird that's half mutt. Never thought of it that way. Some people think that's a victory in itself. Way they escaped the capital and survived. Do they? Says Maisley. Well, if I escape the capital and survive, maybe I'll give that pin a second chance. And she doesn't. But comes back later, and I wonder if Haymitch thinks about this when he sees it on Katniss.
Probably.
That's so heartbreaking.
I mean,
That
there's
is
so much that Haymitch must think about. Like one thing I noticed was, and we should dive into the conversation with Lenore Dove, but she's the first person that he says stay alive to. Like when he gives Katniss and Peeta that, like he says it first to Lenore, and I was like, oh my god,
She didn't say a lie.
and that's his one advice for Katniss.
Yeah,
That's
damn.
so sad.
That is sad
Well,
for him.
before we get to the Dove call, right before that is Miss, who's ready for a big, big day. Miss Effie Trinket arrives. Makes her debut. Were you surprised by that showing, Mark?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because I don't know how old Effie is exactly, but I didn't think that she'd be old enough to be a part of this story. So my mind wasn't even on Effie at all, and then she shows up. It's like, whoa, what a nice surprise!
Yeah, we think that from our reading, it seems like she's like a little bit post university, because her sister Proserpina says she was the president of the Capital Chorus chapter, and she basically created the spring Sartolenia her freshman year. And then Vistus says it's the best party of the year, so much better than Tired Old Fling. So like at some point, maybe they were all in school together at one point. So it sounds like she's only been graduated for like maybe a year or two after. Um, so she's in like her early 20s still. But yeah,
Right.
she is like at least 5 or 6 years older than Haymitch.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Lee, what have you been calling Effie Trinket?
Oh, this was great. We were talking to Andrew today. Shout out Andrew. I called her Elwoods of Penem.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Right? That's so true. It's so true. And then like eventually she like realizes what's good and what's not good. It's so true. Like she breaks her bubble. Like that's exactly how it was. I love. Yeah. What did you think about? Okay, what did you think was what's wrong with the Trinket family?
Yeah, like the little dig that's happening where they say like they're not like proud to be trinkets.
They're not proud to be trinkets. And then Haymitch says, and Effie quickly ruled out the first shirt I tried on because something that looks suspiciously like a blood stain that hadn't come out in the wash. I can't help but wondering if what great aunt Maiselina and her husband did to disgrace the family was connected to some lifeless bodies. Makes me feel a little more dangerous slipping into their skins tonight. So do you think that they were, the theory is like, some people say like, or you said like mafia. I said cannibalism because Snow mentions that in this first war, people got crazy enough to have cannibalism. So I was like, maybe it was cannibalism, but then you were like, maybe it was.
But no, I think
mafia.
you're right because like the opening scene of Valid is them watching someone like tear a limb off.
Right.
Yeah. Or they just deal with dead bodies in the morgue or something.
Maybe. But is that enough to warrant like that
disgrace?
Sort of right?
The only reason I think my theory might not be 100% is because the person that Snow sees doing that, like their family is still like their daughter, or like is it their daughter or like the niece of that family is like in school with him, and then they wonder like in their head like, oh, I wonder if they know what her dad or their uncle did.
That's true.
So I'm like, I wonder if it was, well, maybe the trinkets was just a well-known occurrence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My train of thought was some sort of rebel sympathizers or something that
Oh, true.
like that was the only thing that popped into my head when they say that, just because of how pro capital I guess Effie is. I don't know.
And then what is his name? Vitus. It's like, oh, so and so grandpa was also a sympathizer or something like that.
Oh.
So yeah, it could be just along those lines.
And maybe that's why she's like so pro capital to like make up for it.
Make up for it, yeah. But she somewhat changes her mind, kind of, right?
Oh yeah, we could say yeah. She definitely does.
She learns a lot.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely gray. She's in the gray area, like towards like the end of the series.
Yeah. She definitely like doesn't know any better, and it takes like the rebellion for her to kind of like think, which is also just a commentary from Suzanne.
Yeah.
How brainwashed can you be? Mm-hmm. And then we move on to the Caesar Flickerman interviews, which first question mark, who do you think should play Caesar Flickerman in the films?
Oh, easy. Stanley Tucci.
Bring him back.
Really though.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
100%. Good. That was the right question. Otherwise we would have hung up the phone call. And then they also mention they do like a recap of the games on the screen, which it doesn't seem like they normally do that, but maybe because it's a 50 if they were doing it. And they go through and they do mention the 10th game. I highlighted that because Caesar talks about, I watch carefully when he talks about the 10th games being a turning point, as that was the year District 12 had a victor, but they only feature the introduction of betting, the sponsors, and the Rickety Jones that drop food and water to the tributes. And then they talk about the 25th game, where the districts were forced to choose their own tributes rather than relying on the reaping. Right. And then that's when they talk about, they see another flickerman named Lucky hosted with commentary from a relic of a woman named Gall, who was credited for coining the phrase, "May the odds be ever in your favor" for the anniversary. Can you believe that? That blew my mind. That it was Gall that created that saying. Because this whole time we were like, every trinket always says it. But like, no, it's Gall made it for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she said it in Ballad a few
Really?
times.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess she officially coined it for the 25th game. Is that?
Yeah, that's what they say in the book.
And you wonder like how much of it is her just being like, I know you're all gonna die, so like this is just a dig.
I know this book really turned my head on this is all scripted. Everything is planned.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
This book is very much like if you're a Taylor Swift fan, the Swifties, like, and their numerology and like all the crazy deep dives that they do, like this book has done that to the Hunger Games community because we're going back to the originals and we're rethinking everything
so differently because I truly was thinking that it's just chance whatever happens, like the killings and everything. And I'm like, no, I feel like they plan everything down to a T, and it's really upsetting me. It's
like,
more sad
to the point where like you kind of have to like stop and you're like, I've had enough like analysis for today, like I can't go any deeper,
literally.
Yeah,
pick it up another day.
I love that there's this whole discourse on TikTok where everyone's like, imagine if you were in the 25th games and that one person who came home after being picked by everyone else around them, like how do you react? Like you're the one that was picked by your peers and then you live and you come home.
that's awkward.
How do you not become like a murderer?
Yeah, literally.
Mm-mm.
So I wonder also, so we see, this is where we see a different side of Caesar as well. Because I feel like the Caesar we see in Hunger Games is a little more, he's like kinder to them, I would say. And he like talks them up. But this Caesar doesn't do that. And he talks down to them.
Yeah.
And it kind of is like classifying them as like animals and things, just like how the others do. And that was surprising. Was that surprising to anyone else or just to me?
I mean, I low-key felt bad for like Panache, which
I didn't.
Mark said
Panache.
Why would I do that?
Right.
I mean,
I'm glad.
But okay, did we talk about this on our last episode where we were talking about if there was a careers book and like or did we just chat about this ourselves?
I think we just chatted about
we want to
one, Mark, that said like maybe they're on steroids?
Yes. I think we talked about that, how like from like the day they're born, they're separated from the rest of society, and steroids, supplements specifically made for.
Because weren't you like that will make them dumber too? Like,
right.
And then when they're withdrawing from it.
Yeah, which is exactly like what Panache. And because like when Kato kind of goes crazy, like that could be withdrawal too. Crazy.
Yeah. So for the audience, the theory, if you didn't get it fully, the theory is that, which Mark, we're going to coin you with this theory because you're the one that folds onto this, whether or not you created it, that the careers are being pumped with steroids in the districts to amplify the games and to have them go a little crazy when they're withdrawing. And I think that's a great theory.
Yeah.
Like stupid beast, as it says in the book. And
right.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
It is sad. You know what? I take back my comment about Panache because not his fault, right?
Not his fault. And Caesar really like makes fun of him, and it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's cringy because it's like if you're thinking in this kid's shoes, right? He's about to die, and maybe he's starting to panic a little, and he's realizing that like they're all making fun of him,
right?
Even though he should win, right? He has the brawn.
Oh, I circled this. It says, I think this is the rest of the interviews he's watching. That the newcomer. Okay, yeah, this is where the newcomers are doing really well in their interviews, and Haymitch thinks to himself, maybe we'll lose, but we're sure making a lot of people proud back home. And I circled that because that made me very emotional because it's like it reminded me of Peeta's thing of like, I don't want them to change who I am and that games to affect me. And it's like, yeah, maybe they're all going to die, which obviously they are all going to die. But at least they're standing up for themselves and they're making a name for themselves and they're making themselves proud and feeling confident. It's like the one thing that like President Snow hates obviously is hope. And this gave them so much hope. Although it's still really sad, it's great to see these characters become their own. And I thought going into this book, it'd be really hard to follow all of these characters because, there's double the tributes. I'm like, this is so much.
True.
And mind you, we don't know all the tributes' name. We don't know all of his doves' names. We don't know everyone's name. But she still was able to make us feel connected to these districts, which I think is so impressive because like I said, I truly thought we wouldn't be. I think like, okay, we're only going to focus on 12 because like not gonna pay attention to all those other kids. But then she's like, just kidding. If they have to watch, you have to watch as a reader. And I was just like, great.
So true.
Thanks, Suzanne.
So yeah, Mark, like, what did you think of the poster idea? And I think it kind of touches back on what you were saying with Lenore being kind of a little like bug in Haymitch's ear about being the rebellion. Like, do you think that like he gets the poster thoughts from her too, or like what is your take?
I think so, just because she's such a big part of him. So it's hard not to see that in really anything that Haymitch does. So I think for Haymitch's poster, you will see a lot of influence from his time being with Lenore.
Yeah, and I think it like I thought it was interesting the way like Maisley kind of was like calling Lenore out, but I was also a little confused. Like she talks about Lenore having like secrets and she's got like orange
One big secret, yeah.
Which that kind of was a letdown. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That secret was a letdown, right? Okay, good.
Right? Because it was not what I was expecting. And also
No.
like the way it's written the first time, it talks about like there's orange on her nails. So some people were like, is she painting her nails? Like, is that not allowed?
Self-expression is not
At
allowed.
that point, I couldn't even speculate because I was so confused. I was like, okay, orange? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of me was like, is Lenore a little too rebellious? Like, is she putting too much on this one character? But I don't know. I don't want to criticize because I just love it all.
Listen, things could be wrong about a book we love 100%. So
Yes.
then we get to the call with Miss Lenore, which was heartbreaking. I highlighted so many lines. You know, her telling Haymitch, "I don't want to be on this earth without you." Them talking about how you and me will find each other as many times it takes. And that they mate for life. And Haymitch really does because he never is with anyone after that.
And he has his geese.
And she gets arrested for singing, and she gets everyone all together to sing. It's not just her. And of course, callback, it's to the song The Hanging Tree and the Goose in the Common and the Capitol Store. So it's great to see this connection. But I was so surprised that Plutarch did this. Like, and who is Plutarch's friend in 12? He's just like, oh. Well, he's just like, oh, I have an old friend in 12. An old friend? Who is this old friend?
Yeah, there's no hints or anything. It just says like that, and then they don't touch it for the rest of the book, which was one of the things I was looking forward to going towards the end. But no, they never answer it. It's really weird.
Kind of annoying. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, was this something that got dropped that like a copy editor like didn't pick up on?
I don't know how much they even edit down Suzanne at this point. I don't think they really do.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would love to know. Yeah,
drop Lenore's secret. Give us who Plutarch's friend is. I'd rather that.
Special edition,
literally.
Please.
There is a really cool quote that I'm really glad that you're on this, Mark, because I want to hear your opinion. Plutarch seems generally happy, saying he's going to be able to edit the clips together into some fine prose. He sighs when he mentions that tools that were abolished and incapacitated in the past, once deemed fated to destroy humanity because of their ability to replicate any scenario using any person. And in the mere seconds, he snaps his finger to emphasize their speed. I guess it was the right thing to do given our natures. We almost wiped ourselves out even without them. So you can imagine. But oh, the possibilities. Do you think she's talking about AI? Because she's saying that they once deemed fated to destroy humanity because of their ability to replicate any scenario using any person.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it does sound like AI.
I think it's AI. I think she's like, I really think Suzanne was like, I need to write this book right now, and I need to call out all of the things that are affecting our country. And this is the best way that I could do it. And I think she does do it like so beautifully because it's like subtle jabs, but it's jabs,
Yeah. No, you guys are so smart. I didn't even think of AI. I thought they were onto some sort of technology with like the Jabberjays and how they're able to record people, and they're using that to like implement it into like cloning, or like I don't know where my mind was going when I was reading that, but I did not think of AI. But now that you guys mention it, it's obviously AI. Like that just makes the most sense.
Well, it's funny because I think I stopped Lee when we were reading it together, and I was like, "Lee, this is AI." What was your favorite part of the like beginning of the games? Like, what did you think Haymitch was going to do originally? Like, did you think he was going to like? I mean, obviously we know what had some happening, but like, was that your impression that he was going to like take his backpack and run away, or did you think like he was going to stay and fight?
Part of me was scared that he was just gonna not go through with the plan, and I don't know how he would have done it and stayed alive, but just like stayed away from everybody else and just kind of
So you never doubted the plan?
like
A great
part of me
transition.
was
Let's talk about the plan.
yeah.
Let's talk about it. So go ahead, Mark. But
Yeah, so the plan is for Haymitch to reach the center of the edge of the arena, right?
Well, they want him to go like underground.
Right.
Yeah, that was his kind of doing with the edge of the arena, once things don't work out.
Yeah.
But before that happens, like the plan was for him to find the underground to take out the generator. Now I'm not realizing there's a backup generator, and flood it so the games would destroy.
Right.
Able to figure out what the plans were because of Plutarch actually about how they had been enclosed and where things came out of and whatnot. Which is smart because I don't think Katniss ever questioned that either. Like he questioned, like obviously because they're in this plan, like questions like where are things coming in and coming out from, like they don't just appear. Like where the fireballs in her game coming out of, like did so.
Yeah. Do we
It
think
was handled.
that if Plutarch didn't if Plutarch didn't say anything, that he would still be recruited to be part of the plan?
Yeah, who decided that internally? Like, do you think it's Speedy or you think it was Plutarch who did it? Because Plutarch's been looking for his Mockingjay ever since, and clearly the idea is that like it didn't work out with Haymitch, and I wonder if it happens again later. But like, yeah, was it Plutarch?
Right.
Was it BD? Who was it?
A great question.
Which made me think,
I don't know.
If people talk about Annie's games and how like maybe that'll be the next book or whatever, and there was a video I watched. I wish I had the creditor in here. Maybe I'll put it on the after, but that they were talking about. And they glaze over so quickly that like Annie's game she won because the Capitol did too much at once and they ended up drowning the arena, which is ironic for just what they're trying to do in this one. And Annie was the best swimmer. But it's like the Capitol is so advanced, especially by Annie's teams, like not that they mess up their own arena. The question is like, is that true? Was it just a lie that they said? Like, was there another attempt for someone to drown the arena again? And that's what happened with Annie. Like, was Annie that like person that Plutarch gets in to do this and then doesn't work out?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Like, I'm sure between then and Annie's games, there must have been other attempts to sabotage the games that I don't know. Maybe they let it happen so that Annie wins the games, but they knew that like they orchestrated the whole thing to make it seem like they did something, like Annie did something, but I don't know. It's hard to put anything past the Capitol, especially this book definitely shows that, especially with their plan going awry. Like I can't imagine that they're just going to let that happen.
Right. So like this part ends where like Haymitch thinks he's like had a victory. He like really does a victory dance, sings a song, and then realizes very quickly like, oh,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like so much addition of songs.
Yeah. But then he quickly realizes like, oh no, like I screwed up. This is not over.
Mm-hmm.
And like Suzanne is so good about those cliffhangers, And yeah, I think that you're right. Like this shows us that the Capitol, there's so much, and like Snow specifically, right? That he just can do anything that you can imagine. Like he could do worse, right?
Yeah, because we know he's tried and somewhat successful, somewhat failed to rig a game itself. That I wouldn't put it past him to already be suspicious of every single game, and I think that's why we see that BD's plan kind of fails. Is that Snow is just always going to be a step ahead.
Right.
Do you think that the Snow kills Bee's family too? Like, you know, if Haymitch goes home and his family was murdered, like, do you think he does the same to BD, like kills his pregnant wife?
I feel like he might even do it like slower, like give him a little time with them and then off, you know?
Again,
I don't know. I just
like his son.
it's
Yeah,
Amber is so sad because like again, he is one that like Haymitch couldn't save and Haymitch says to BD, like, I won't let him suffer. And like he has
He
one of the
does.
worst deaths. Like truly.
Well, I wrote some of my notes to
So
it. It's very similar to Katniss. It's funny that you were comparing this to Touching Fire when a lot of these moments actually remind me of the original Hunger Games. And this moment is the same moment, like almost kind of the same, honestly, as Katniss and Rue. When Katniss and Rue go to blow up the Cooner's foods, and Katniss is so proud of it. They think that they really made a difference. And then she comes back from making this difference to see that Rue has been murdered. And it wasn't orchestrated by the Capitol per se, but at least it's like the same thing of like Haymitch thinks he did something great, goes back, and then repeats that like with his guilt at the same age on top of that. So it was very reminiscent of that.
Right.
That's their breaking, I guess it's their breaking point, especially because like that's the midway of this book, or no, over midway of this book. So interesting. And this is what he, like he says, this is my poster. And then scroll it. Scroll it.
And like this is very much like a turning point in his games. And so she uses that to like turn the tide on like the rascal is over and now we've got our poster, our rebellion.
What makes, you know, it's so heartbreaking. It says Amber died. They are programmed. First off, they're like, these are programmed for Amber alone. His look, his smell, his taste. I'm losing a fight. I'm losing him. I know this, but there's nothing to do but keep swinging. I never even get a glimpse of Amber, just withering furry bodies fighting for a piece of him. Finally, as if someone blew a whistle and audible only to them, hundreds of heads pop up and run into the unison toward an unseen master. A mad dash ensues, and in seconds the squirrels have vanished into the foliage. Panting, I watch them fade away. Then I turned back to what I meant to witness. A small white skeleton stripped clean to the bone. No flesh or clothing remains, only an axe in its right hand, my knife and slap. My lips move, but no sound comes out. Buddy, I stumble forward. Like the fact that he still was like, buddy.
so sad.
So sad. And it all happens so quickly. Like she does that so much. Where like you've been saying this thing, you're like, it's kind of moving slow. And you're like, but then you're like, wait, hold on. Like you have to go back and forth, like, wait, that just happened. It's not pulled out. It's like just so quickly. You're like, how? Why is Suzanne and how?
Wait, jabbed his heart.
Literally, jab your heart.
Yeah. But you're right. Like those are very clearly not meant for Amber. Like that doesn't happen too often. Like in Katniss's games, like sure, there's the Jabberjays, which are very much targeted. And then I think like the mutts when she realizes it's the eyes of the tributes. Like that's very
and Catching Fire, each
targeted.
part of the clock is for each part of the clock in Catching Fire is for a certain victor to torture them.
Yeah, I have heard that. I haven't like fully thought it out and broken it down, but
well, that's kind of the end of part 2. So that we ended there with Amber's death, and so sad. So overall, what are everyone's takeaways, thoughts, feelings, crying?
Where do we stand?
Just sad. Yeah, because Amber's death, even though you know it's coming, just because it's Haymitch is the victor, so obviously everyone has to die for that to happen. The way Suzanne delivers these deaths, it's so jarring. And especially that one. I had to reread it a few times. I'm like, the squirrels got there, left, and then there's just a pile of skeleton, like a pile of bones, and like, oh, what? They can't be talking about Amford, no way. And then you realize, yeah, that's Amford, and that's how he dies, and it's so freaking sad because he's such a good character, and to die in such a way is so traumatic.
Right. And he gave us that like spark of hope. We were like, he's brought Haymitch in, he's helped like lead this little rebellion and like just snuffed out so fast. I think this part also made me like curious because like I reread it too. And like one character that I was really curious about was Nasally, and I was like, what is she doing? Like I really want to know what she's up to at the mountain, the volcano, whatever, this whole time. And like how is she faring and like what is hardening her even more, you know? And right now we'll never know that. What about you, Jen? Are you still with us emotionally?
I am. I'm very sad. But I think it was a great way to like introduce the games in a way that like I'm surprised. I think myself that the most of the second half of this, like I thought the games would be majority of this book, and really the games like as we could see, literally only the third part and like a small part of the second part. And that surprised me. And I think that was a great way to do this because Suzanne wants to make sure the audience is like not just hearing the games. Like, because if you are, then we talked about this, then you're just like the capital. And I think that it was a great way to like this middle part moved the book and it kept you going, it kept you wanting more, and it lets you be able to sadly give you more information on the tribute relationships. Like you mentioned, Lee, you're talking about the hug that they all have when they all come in for a hug. The 12 of them, the 4 of them from 12, and that's so heartbreaking. And I think, like I said, I think it's just a great way to like connect with all the characters despite you not thinking you could because there's so many. And it just was so sad to see his plan go to shit. Because like I also like when I first read the plan and like it's happening, I was a little confused. I like I had to reread it. I was like, what's happening? Like he got underneath there, this water. I was really confused. But then it just like I'm excited to see that cinematically, I think. Which we love that it's always being made into a movie. And I just it's such a pivotal. I keep thinking about what you said, Mark, with the ballad episode of like, when is their pivotal moment? When is their changing moment? When is that like sparking moment? And it's like to see that happen for the character and then it fail. And then you go, okay, where do we go from here? We're only midway through the book right now. Like the book still has like 100 pages more left. And you just saw this turning point happen for this character. And then it failed for them. Like, I don't think I've experienced a lot in the book where it just like, usually like a turning point and then it's better and you get better, but like it doesn't work out for this character and you know that before you start the book. But so to experience that with them, you're like, it just feels so real. On top of that, obviously like this scenario, we're not going this scenario every day, but you can relate to that in life where you're like, not everything is peaches and cream, where you're like, you have a turning point in your life, you're like, it's gonna all work out. And it doesn't. Like there's parts where you're gonna fail, but it's how you get up from them. So I guess that's the point of the book, is seeing how he gets up from it. We know that he doesn't until he meets someone that makes him get up from it. But it's just really, it's insane to me to experience that in a reading experience. Because especially with a book, like, you know, you get the happy ending or you get the turning point in like the turning point in ballad, and we get the turning point. It's not a happy ending. We hate to know by the end, but at least we see where he goes from there. And this is just like, well, my character just failed. Like, are we done? Like, are we done with the book? Well, we're not. We're not.
It used to downward spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to put it at the very end of this part, it's like we like feel it with Haymitch to be like just the defeat and the like, and we got to turn the page. We got to know what happens next, but we don't really know how. And that's how he's feeling too. Like he's still in the games. Like he's still to get through this or not, you know?
And to call the next part of the book the poster, even though he just said this was my poster in this part of the book. In reality, Suzanne's like, no, it wasn't, bro. Like your poster actually happens years later.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
I think that's a great place for us to leave it. So thank you, Mark, so much for joining us to talk about
with us.
Part-time 2. Yeah, we had a technical difficulties
having
with
me
the
again.
episode.
Yeah.
Very proud we got it through.
That's okay. Made it.
Thank you all the Hunger Games fans for joining us. We are so happy to talk about Sunrise and the Reaping, and we're going to keep talking about it in our next full-length episode. We actually are going to take a break in our episode schedule from Sunrise and do Crescent City for a little bit as well, because we're finishing up that series. So check us out. Check out all of our episodes if you can. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Faith Tale Podcast. Check out our book clubs. We have so many book clubs, including a Hunger Games one. And we have a lot of great episodes coming in reading abilities where you can read in our book club with us, and the last one after whatever book we're reading in the book club, we'll review on the podcast. So you have like a nice reading and listening experience. Did I miss anything else, Lee?
Nope, you clacked it all.
Well, we hope that you guys go back, read Sunrise and the Reaping, reread Sunrise on the Reaping, and happy reading.
Happy reading. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mark.